Hi. I'm back. It's me. Hi. I always want to do a big dramatic entrance and then I just forget to because I'm so excited to. Oh, I was fully intending to create a creative world, but I just got so excited I accidentally hit the enter key and now it's a survival world and I don't really know what to do about that. Hopefully I've got cheats on so I can just change it. I guess we'll find out. Hi, it's been like 3 weeks since I've been here. I got married, which is hella exciting. I'm just really excited to be back. I always hate taking time off. Yeah, damn it, I'm gonna have to make a new world. I always hate having to take time off, and I'm so excited to be back. I love doing this. So thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting me, because that's rad. Support creativity and dreams and fun things. I wish you could set, like, default worlds. Like, I always want to spawn things that don't advance time of day, don't spawn, don't update weather. But I always have to go through and add all of the settings. Okay. A few weeks ago, I was like, hey, I just want to tell a story. And that's kind of the vibes today as well. I had a really fun idea for a live show I've been wanting to do, which is just to have a couple of actors and just... Nice ring, thank you. You can't hear me. That's not good. It should be coming through. Okay. Sounds like it might not be my problem. Yeah, I had an idea for a live show which is completely improvised. Choose your own adventure. And I still absolutely want to do that, and I'm so excited to do that. But I decided that every day I would spend a bit of time practicing. And then when I got good at it, I would actually be able to do it. That was a couple of years ago. And now I am finally ready to start practicing. I didn't practice. I'm real bad at that. I've been living with undiagnosed ADHD for a long time. But, you know, I figured sometimes the best way to start is just start, so... We're gonna do a choose your own adventure. Same as last time. I have come in with absolutely zero preparation. And we're just gonna make this up as we go. Come be part of the process. Oh, it's a village. So, I was thinking, like, maybe an adventure movie, but I'm open to suggestions. Does anyone have an idea for a vibe or a title? Camel! Yes. Otherwise, I am very happy to come up. Story in the village, a dark secret hidden under the town. There's another village over here. That's fully a different village, right? Is it the story of the dark secret between these two villages? This is a weird village. Have they completely changed Desert Generation? I am very easily distracted. feud, story of tension, of drama, of loss. This house doesn't even have a wall. It's just a little corner. So we got this weird ass jungle village nightmare, and over here more a traditional jungle village. So where do we start? I suppose at the beginning. Or perhaps in the middle. One day, this little guy, what's his name? Little Toby was hanging out on the top of the mountain. Just having a right old good time. But things were brewing. He didn't know it yet. But war was almost inevitable. Down in the meeting hall, people were talking. People were asking questions. People were angry. The people over there in the other village, they don't understand us. We've got bountiful crops. We have a tree. And they think we've got it good. But they don't understand. We have to scale this insane frickin' mountain every day to get to this pond. They're sitting out there judging us, thinking our life is easy, when they don't live on an insane twisted mountain thing. Maybe we show them what it's like to live life hard. Because you see, out in the desert, there's not so much to do. So it's very easy for tempers to flare. Out in the hot, in the sun. These guys have a camel. They've got plenty of weight. Where's it come from? Ooh, there's a swamp over there. I am, sorry, very easily distracted. So as war was brewing, I've already forgotten his name, Todd, I think it was Todd, little Todd, was sitting up by the well with his camel friend. And off in the distance, a sparkle. And now in the desert, it's not rare to see mirages when things are hot. Little waves of, swirly waves of heat in the distance, but this was different. It wasn't just shiny, there was a sparkle in it. So Todd did what all good little lads do, and he went to investigate. I don't think he can actually get down this mountain, but he went to investigate. Now Todd knew that he had to be home before dark, or he'd be in big trouble. So, of course that was the plan. Todd was a good little boy and he wanted to do what was right. But he went out over hill to chase that little glimmer. Unbeknownst to him, war was brewing. But he ran and he chased that glimmer on the horizon. The way this works, by the way, feel free at any point to jump in and decide what happens next. This isn't going to be a standard all choose your own adventure when I get to the end of a chapter and I'm like, do you want to do this or do this? This is improvised, baby. Anything could happen. So Todd ran through the desert, with a glimmer in his eye and a glimmer on the horizon. He chased the glimmer, and he chased, and he was never seen again. The next morning, the townspeople awoke. And Todd's dad, being one of... I've already completely lost the village, but that's fine. We don't need to tell the story. Todd's dad, being one of the main advisors of the village, was quite put out by this. Of course, he'd seen Todd wander off, but he'd always come home in time before. When he went to bed, he assumed he was just a little ways off. But Todd never arrived back home. And with the war a-brewin', and with tensions high, there was only one way that Todd's father knew to look. So, he went to the other village, and he demanded to see his son again. The other village, of course, knew nothing of this, quite concerned by the sudden accusation. I mean, they were just out there living their life. And this rival village has come along and accused them of kidnapping? That's not a very nice thing to do. So all of a sudden, they're like, hey, hang on, wait a minute. We had nothing to do with this. Are you trying to go? Are you trying to start a war and blame us for it? Because that's not gonna fly. You cannot do this kind of crap here. Oh, I found the village. Is this a different village again? There's so many villages. You cannot pull this kind of crap around here. Oh my gosh, I need more tea. So, the chief of the non-mountain tribe decides to take bold action. He looks at Todd's dad and says, "You have accused us today. You have made fools of us and insulted our pride. Many years ago, one of our children went missing, and we never blamed you for it. But today is the day to make up for that. You bring that child home, you find them, and we let this be. But if you cannot find our lost child within 7 days, then there will be war, and you will lose." Todd's dad was a little concerned by this. I mean, war was what he'd been expecting. It was inevitable, but he didn't like to be threatened. He certainly didn't like it to be insinuated that he was the bad guy. I mean, where else could Todd have gone? If it wasn't for these people, who else would have taken Todd? I mean, they searched everywhere. It's not like he just fell in a hole and died. He was gone, and these people had to be to blame. So the question stood, did he take up their offer for peace? Take up their offer to prove his innocence? And take the opportunity to find his son? Or does he do the other thing? Off sick today, so I can watch the whole stream now. Exciting! We are doing a improvised choose your own adventure. I'm just telling a story, and you're welcome at any point to choose something that happens. And sometimes I'm going to ask for things, but even if I don't, give me suggestions. Your word is my command. So with Todd missing, his dad had the choice. Either take off to find the other missing children, to possibly negotiate for peace and clear his good name, or take offense and start the war himself. He was eager for blood. It had been a long time since he'd fought, and there were so many tensions and miscommunications and moments of anger and fear. This war had been brewing for so long. He was so ready to cut the tension, even with violence. But he had to take a moment and ask himself, even though he knew this was what he wanted, he knew it was a big step. Is this really the way to go? He sat down with the rest of the council, and they talked, and they talked. And after hours, they finally came to a decision. If anyone wants to input on the decision, now's the time. They try to find the child. Okay. They try to find the child. They decide war has been brewing for a long time. But a false accusation is not the way they want to start this war. Even if it starts, it's going to start on their terms. So, he decides to put together a band of adventurers to find out what happened to Todd and what happened to this other child from the other village many years ago. And he decides to put together a crack team of 3 young people. The first person on this team, and a camel, of course, 3 young people and a camel. The first person on this team is Tamara Banks. I'm going to write this down because I'm terrible at remembering names. Tamara Banks has always been excited for adventure. Any chance she can take to get herself into trouble, she is running right into it. She's their best climber, their best finder, and their best at getting out of trouble, because my goodness does she have to use that skill a lot. The second person is Evan Radican. Tall, thin, with wispy blonde hair. Evan's been studying maps all his life. He knows the area like no one else. He's never taken the time to explore it as much as he'd wanted to. Well, because there was always so much looking at maps to do. That's what map people do. They'd sit and look at maps, right? There was always so much map making to do, so many details to pour into. But now's his chance to take on the world. The camel, of course, the third most important member of the team, is Susan LeBanks. This camel was found by the village at a very young age, wandering through the desert, almost out of water. The village saved her and raised her, and she has known nothing but the village's love. Oh, this has 3 flint and steel in it. Has known nothing but the village's love. Especially Todd's. Susan LeBancs and Todd's were inseparable. So, Susan has made it her mission to save Todd, no matter the cost. And finally, the last member of our team, pardon me, the last member of our team is Maria Thigh-High. She has been the captain of the debate team for 6 years running. There is no problem she can't solve. No task too great. Nothing too scary or too fierce. She can talk her way out of anything. And talk just about anyone into anything. Why did Todd's dad choose this random assortment of people to go on this quest? They were just sort of the ones that were free at the time. Everyone else was sort of busy. This was a very important quest, but also life in the desert is hard, and the farmers needed to farm, and everyone else was doing more important things than avoiding a war. They were kind of just the people that were available. So, they packed their bags. Tamara, Evan, Susan, and Maria packed their bags and set out towards the horizon. The faint glimmer of mirage was present, but the sparkle Todd saw earlier was gone. Not that they knew of the sparkle, because Todd had walked off without telling anyone where he was going or why. Because Todd's an idiot. But they headed off into the desert. And in the desert, what do they encounter? The first thing they encounter is a band of thugs. These guys are mean, these guys are angry, and these guys are desperate. See, a long time ago, these thugs were a part of the other village, and they lived a happy life. But they got bored, they got tired, things were hot, and they got angry. And they killed a bunch of people, and they got kicked out. And now their only way to survive is by preying on lonely, scared people. So, these 3 guys come out with their knives in their hand, and they say, "Hey, give us your stuff. Give us your stuff." And if anyone wants to comment on what the gang do otherwise, Maria looks at the group and goes, "Whoa, hang on a second. We're here looking for a missing kid." They cast Fireball. He's one of the band that lost child of the other village. So, 2 things sort of happen at the same time here. As Maria starts going, "Whoa, hang on a second here, gang. We can talk this out. We're looking for a lost kid." Evan, who has never been out in the field and has been studying for a really long time, maps but also apparently magic, just immediately panics and throws out the one spell he can remember at the time, just shoots an enormous ball of fire at these guys. This flame wraps around and speeds and explodes. And all these three guys just immediately catch on fire, and they are running around looking for any way to put it out. They did not remember their stop, drop, and roll. They are just running, looking for water. The smell of burnt flesh is so strong in the air. One of them runs into a dead bush and sets that alight. But slowly, the screams and the smell and the heat die down. And it's over. They are hours into their trip and have already committed terrible atrocities and are already scarred. This is not what they signed up for. They thought they were going on a cute little adventure to save some kids. And now all of a sudden, people are just dead. People are just dead in front of them, and those screams will haunt them for the rest of their lives. I was going to ask if maybe one of them was the lost child, Maria says. Evan looks at her. Fear in his eyes, but not fear of the bandits. Fear of what he's become. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. They were gonna kill us. Or they were gonna take our stuff, and we wouldn't be able to stop this war. And a whole war would have started. I was protecting people. I was keeping people safe. I was stopping a war. I did the right thing. I did the right thing. And that question, did I do the right thing, is a question that would haunt Evan for the rest of his life. But it is not the first of such a question that would haunt the gang. Because there would be many, many questions and many more lines crossed over the course of this adventure. For they started out expecting a small journey, maybe a few days, maybe a week, but this became a story of legend, a story that many, many have told, but almost none have truly known. This is the story of how a small group of young people from the desert changed the world forever. This is the story of Tamara, Evan, Susan, and Maria. They decide that after that ordeal, it might be time to make a camp and spend the night. Things had gotten out of hand, but it wasn't too late to readjust, to take some time, and to start afresh. They wanted to go home, but they knew this was only the beginning. This was only the start of the journey, and things still needed to be done. Any illusion that this would be a fun adventure was long gone. But it needed to be done, so it would be done. They wrapped up tight in the little rucksacks, as the moon rose. And some slept, and some found for the first time they no longer could. Note to self, too much chaos. sun rose the next day, as it always does, with no knowledge of what had happened the night before. And the journey continued. They continued through the desert, long past where Todd had disappeared, out into the world. They passed through a swamp filled with hundreds and hundreds of terrifying mosquitoes, some as big as your arm. They continued through the jungle, where they met lions and tigers and bears, and most of them were friendly. But they couldn't stay. On and on they went. They met villages and friends, and had enough tales to tell thousands of stories. But the story we're telling today truly begins in another small town. This town was also up a mountain, but in a rather different kind of desert. An ice desert. Maria and Evan and Susan and Tamara had never been so cold. But their feet continued, and as night fell, they sought shelter in this village. A village of strangers, but hopefully a village of friends. The first person they came across was Patton Levelet. Patton was the town guard, and was very confused when he saw 3 young people and a camel climbing this icy mountain without a single jacket. Patton was like, hey guys, what's up? This is not normal. Are you okay? Did someone steal your jackets? What are you doing up here? Through freezing cold breath, shivering lungs, Maria looked up and went, "Hello, sir. We're on a very important quest. And we need somewhere to go. We need somewhere to stay, because we might freeze to death out here. We did not expect to be going up a mountain. This started as a simple quest in the desert. We were told we only had 7 days, and I think it's been a lot more than that. But, we really need to find some missing children. Have you seen any missing children?" Patton thought deeply about this. Had he seen any missing children? He'd certainly seen lots of children. This was a fertile village that produced many offspring. But he thought, no. All of the children I know were well accounted for. There's Kathy's mum. Sorry. Kathy's mum has a child whose name is Kathy. Kathy's mum is not a child. Yes. No, I do know all of the parents of all of the children who live here. But, now that I think about it, several years ago, we also had a child that went missing. This child's name was Glenifer. She was a bit of a dreamer, a little bit doe-eyed, always looking to the horizon for new adventures. Always dreaming big and thinking small. One day, she started talking, saying strange things about a glimmer in the distance. Well, no one really listened to her, because she was always saying strange things about strange magic. But this time, she was determined to find out what it was. So off she went, chasing something on the horizon that none of us quite understood. And perhaps I should have gone with her. Because, as you say, she went missing. No one ever saw her again. I always thought she got eaten by a crocodile. But, as we live on a mountain, perhaps that wasn't the case. Have you ever been eaten by a crocodile? No, Evan said. If we had, we probably wouldn't be here. Evan was very put off by this man. He seemed rather strange and illogical, but it sounded like he had the knowledge they needed. Do you know anything else about this missing person? Anything else about what happened to them? Because it seems like this might be a similar situation. Because our friend Todd, he was a bit of a dreamer too. He was always climbing up mountains and talking to camels. So maybe they did see something. Maybe there is something peculiar afoot here. Patton thought long and hard, trying to remember every detail, because this was quite a long time ago. That way. She went that way. And they turned, and they looked out, and they saw something peculiar. That way was the way to the ocean. A fact on its own that does not seem particularly peculiar, but that's also the way Todd went, toward the same ocean. A coincidence, perhaps, but for now it may be the only lead they had. So, the ocean. Dreamers. Children missing. When did... What was the character's name? Oh no, I forgot. It was a weird name, like Stephanie or something. When did this girl go missing? Tamara asked. Do you remember exactly when? Well, it was a strange night. A warm night for all my sensibilities. But it was many years ago. 7 years, I think, maybe 8. She went missing. Almost exactly. Glenifer, thank you. 7 years ago. In fact, we remembered the anniversary just a few days ago. 7 years and 4 days. The group looked at each other excitedly, but rather confused. Because 4 days ago exactly was when Todd had vanished. Exactly the same day, 7 years apart, they were both drawn towards the sea. But why? What was in the sea? Under the sea, toward the sea? A glimmer. They were rather stumped by this and didn't quite know what to do. So they decided to sleep on it, as many should. They went to sleep. And they dreamed. And they thought, Poseidon, not again. And Evan remembered a story he was told long ago about a god of the ocean. Poseidon. Poseidon was quite a cantankerous god, known more for being angry at his brother than typically for kidnapping children or inspiring dreams. But he had to wonder, might this have something to do with it? Could this Poseidon guy be up to something? So, when the morning came, Evan went straight to the library and started doing some research. Poseidon, Greek god of the ocean, among other things. Very jealous, very angry, very temperamental. What on earth could he be up to? Scrolled through myth and through legend, but nothing quite seemed to tickle his fancy. The answer may not be, this time, in a book. Perhaps the answer lay in the ocean itself. So, the gang got together and thanked Patton greatly for his kindness and hospitality, and promised that if ever they can, they would bring Glennifer home. So they packed their bags, which at this point were quite light, and they refueled with plenty of snacks, and made their way toward the ocean. What they would find there, they had no idea. But this was the next leg of their adventure. They wrapped together a bunch of planks to form a rather ill-informed raft, but you know, they did their best, and set out onto the rough and wild sea, not knowing if they would ever see land again. They sailed, and they sailed, and after a few hours Evan turned to the group and said, "Guys, this might have been a bad idea. We have no idea where we're going or what we're doing, and this raft will not support us for long. We have food for 6 days maximum. Maybe 4 with the way Maria eats. And Susan barely fits on this raft. Maybe we should have left Susan behind. No, Susan is an important part of our team. But it does seem impractical to have a camel on a raft. I think we may have made some rash decisions here." "We have to try," Tamara responded. We've come so far and faced so many things. We can't just give up now. Camel equals food if needed. We love Susan, but we love Todd more, and we know that Susan would give her own flesh to feed us on this quest, if that's what we must do. Maybe we starve. Maybe we drown. Maybe we get lost out at sea and no one sees us again. But something big is going on here, and we have to try. The rest of the gang looked a little more dubious about the adventure, but, well, they were here now, and honestly they couldn't remember which way land was, so even if they wanted to, it was too late to turn back. Night fell, and the waves started to grow. They grew bigger and wilder and scarier. The wind whistled and foam flew above their heads. The raft was rocked over massive waves and they clung tightly, soaking, freezing. And in a second, far too fast for them even to comprehend it happening, a wave rushed over them, crashed over the raft, and they went under with such force that they were all knocked out. The next thing they knew, they could hear the sound of water echoing around them. They could feel the dark and the cold, but they couldn't see. Wherever they were, it was further down and further dark than they'd ever been before. They tried to breathe, to speak, but the air around them was suffocating. Is this how their quest would end? Was it all for nothing? Was Evan right? Did they make too many rash decisions? But as they flailed and panicked, they saw a light. They saw a light slowly edging towards them. Oh, hey, gang! Another friend? They looked, and it was a dugong. Not that they knew what a dugong was, but it was a little kind of fat elephant mammal creature. What are you guys doing out here? You don't look like you can swim very well. The gang, quite naturally, were rather confused by this development. Who was this creature? And where were they? Who are you? And where are we? They asked. Oh, yeah. I'm meeting a lot of new people, so I'm not used to introducing myself. My name is Cladley. My name's Cladley. And I'm just chilling. I'm just here for a good time. This is my house. What are you up to? You really don't seem like you're the sort of people that are used to being in an ocean environment. While the gang were relieved to find a friendly face, this wasn't quite what they'd expected. Who was this guy? And when was Poseidon? My name is Maria, and these are my friends, and we're searching for some lost children. Have you seen any children, perchance? The dugong had to think long and hard about this. Any lost children? Okay. You're gonna have to remind me, what are children? Right, children. The small humans that have been born quite recently. Oh, yeah. Children. I did, yeah. I did see a child quite recently. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Very excited to hear more about this. Do you have any more information you could provide to us? Well, 3 years ago, he's secretly beside the sun but doesn't know it. 3 years ago, 3 years, and dare I say 6 days ago, this little kid came along. And he was like, "Hello, Mr. Dugong. I'm on an adventure." And I was like, "Alright, it's nice to meet you, but I do not do adventures. I hope you have a great day, sir, and it was nice to meet you." It was a very short conversation, but, dare I say, a good one. And yes, that's what happened. Surely you have more information than that. Oh, yes, I do have more information than that, if you'd like it. Yes, we would very much like it. We are currently actively looking for these people, so this information would be incredibly helpful to us. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Could you perhaps impart this information upon us at this time? Yeah, I could. But, I mean, if you guys are good finders and good helpers, I've been looking for something too. I can't find my dad. I went for a walk a little while ago, then I just couldn't find him anymore. You guys think you could help with that? I know you're very busy, but if you go and finding things anyway, maybe you could help me find my dad. Oh. Well, we are fairly busy, but I suppose we could help you. Sure. How old are you? I am 148. Yeah, I know. I'm young. I don't look it. I look like an old man, but I am 148. And you're looking for your dad. Yeah. He's a pretty cool guy. Pretty chill. Just sort of hangs out a lot. Right. And when exactly did you lose your dad? Couple hundred years ago? Oh, okay. Couple hundred years ago. That might make it a little difficult to find, because that's a long time. Do you have any idea where he might be? Yes. The ocean. Okay. I guess it's technically a start. It is a start. I'll give it that. The ocean. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have assumed that, given that he's an ocean creature, but no. What? He's not an ocean creature. My dad's a guy. Your father is a guy. Yeah, he's a guy. Do you think you're a guy? No. I'm a dugong. And your father is not a dugong. Yeah. Is that normal in the ocean? Oh. Well, I don't know. I never really thought about it. Right. Okay. Yeah. Have you ever met any other dugongs that did not have dugongs as parents? No. And you never questioned that? No. You are quite a simple creature, aren't you? Yeah. I'm just here to have a good time. Okay, so we need to find your father, who is a dude, a pretty chill dude, and is probably in the ocean. And then you will help us stop a war? That is your stipulation, is we have to find your father, who is a guy, who is somewhere in the ocean. That is all the information we have. Yeah, okay, great, cool, fine, yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. I'm sure we can do that. Why don't you tell us where the kid went, and then we'll help you. Huh? How about that? Yugong thought about this for a second. He didn't want to be easily fooled. He thought, these people seem nice, and they seem like they're helping me. But people have tried to trick me before. Do I think this is a trick? What did our Dugong do? Did our Dugong fall for this trick? Or perhaps is it not a trick at all? Where is this going? You're going to get a backflip in the water to see if they flinch. Interesting. So our Dugong knows a lot of things. He's been around for a lot of years. He's had a lot of people try to trick him. But he has one infallible technique to test people's character. He thought about it, and he thought about it. All of a sudden, he leant back and did a giant backflip. Well, the party were quite startled and began to run away. Because they're like, oh no, this Yugong is onto us and going to attack. So they just started freaking booking it. The Dugong was like, oh, I thought they were my friends. That's a shame. Well, I guess I'll go back to swimming and being alone. But at that moment, our Dugong friend had another thought. If these pesky adventurers were going to use him, it's to stop him from using them. So he swam and he swam and he swam, and he caught up to the adventurers because they are not very good swimmers. And he said, "Hey gang, what are you running away for? I was just doing a thinking flip." They were like, oh yes, a thinking flip, of course. We were just doing a thinking run as well. We just wanted to have a think at the same time, because we're trying to work out for you where your father is. We were thinking about that. Yes, indeed. I believe you. We will work together on this, but I have to tell you something. You see, the place where I did see this child was, in fact, with my father. My father had the child. So, in order to find the child, we may, in fact, need to find my father first, which, to be fair, is very convenient, because that is, after all, what we were already planning to do. Right. Great. Yeah. Yeah, great. Absolutely. Yes, that is what we were planning to do, and it is very exciting that our two priorities line up nicely. Isn't that so exciting? You know, to be honest, this may be the best lead we've had so far. We were kind of just working on the ocean up till now, so a guy in the ocean is technically slightly more of a direction than we had. So, great, I guess. This is fantastic. Our adventure is going amazingly, and I am excited and happy about this development. Thank you so much for your help, Mr. Dugong. You're welcome. Yep. So, they set off to find a guy in the ocean. A guy in the ocean. The dugong helped them swim back up, and they got back to their raft. It was a little small for 3 people, a camel and a dugong, but they all slid on. They traversed across the top of the ocean, looking out, seeking a kind of chill guy that's probably in the ocean. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're never gonna find this guy in the ocean that's just a kind of chill guy in the ocean. That is not going to work. I've got an idea, Maria whispered gently, quietly. When I do debating, and it looks like I'm going to lose, I have a secret tactic. Insults, trash talking. Sometimes the only thing you really need to do to win is throw them off their game. You follow? You follow? Yeah. So, let's take some time right now, square up, and we're going to yell at this ocean. I want everyone to take a moment and think about the worst possible insult you could throw at this ocean to make it angry. Okay, I'll start. You look like you wouldn't be very good at playing the piano. The ocean jiggled a little, but it was hard to tell if it was a wave or something more. Okay. Good start. Who's next? Evan, you got something? Okay. Evan thought deeply. Through all his years of study and magic, as the intelligent one of the group, he knew he had to come up with something incredible here. He thought long and deep and hard. Hey, ocean. You got a flat ass. That ass, it's just not doing it for me. That is not the kind of ass I'd like to tap. Absolutely terrible ass. Yeah, that's right. Rubbish. Garbage. Make it bigger. Yeah. The ocean trembled again. A little more definitively this time. Tamara, what do you got? Tamara took a deep think. Deep, hard think. You know, I always heard big things about the ocean and how exciting and big and special it was. But now I'm here. You're kind of boring. You're kind of a boring ass ocean. I don't know. I expected more. I expected more from the ocean. I don't know. I've walked through deserts that were more exciting than this. Just whole ass deserts, nothing but sand. But hey, at least there was sand. Over here, it's literally just water. What's up with that? Just water? Nah. It's not cool. It's not. You're a trashy ass ocean. Trashy ass, boring ass ocean. The ocean trembled again. This time they could almost feel the fury. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Dugong? Have you got something prepared? You ready to insult this ocean? And the dugong looked long and hard at the ocean and said, your father left you? The ocean rumbled and grumbled and groaned. Okay, we're not quite there yet. We need one more. And they all turned to the saltiest, wittiest, most legendary member of the group, the camel Susan. They were like, all right, Susan, what do you got for us? Susan straightened her back, looked deep into the ocean, looked deep and hard. The ocean buckled and groaned and ripped up, tore into two tall towers, leaving a drop right in front of them. It curled and it turned and it swallowed them. Down they fell and flew through spirals, breathing in more water than they ever thought they could, till they settled on the bottom of the ocean floor, which wasn't quite what they expected. See, the ocean floor they always expected to be, well, sandy and wet and full of ocean life. But when they got there, it was kind of like a tea party. They were sitting around just having a tea party. So, again, rather confused, Maria walks right up to the guy at the head of this table and says, "Hey, mate, what the hell's going on here?" The man looks confused and looks at Maria. What the hell is going on here indeed? Oh, hello, son. It's you. Well, isn't that nice? It's been a long time since I've seen you. You wandered off. You've really got to stop doing that. One of these days, I would be able to find you again. This, it turns out, is the dugong's father. Rather conveniently. Oh. Hey, Dad. It's nice to see ya. The dugong then immediately began wandering off again. Okay. Hello, sir. My name is Tamara, and I am here to find some lost children. Your son, I suppose, this dugong here, Says he's your son. I'm not quite sure how that works. I failed biology, but I'm pretty sure that's against most natural laws. Yeah, what's up with that? No, stay on task. It doesn't matter. Where are the lost kids? The man thought deeply. Well, I don't think I know anything about any lost kids. Have you seen any lost kids? Turns to the group, sipping tea. Lost. No. I've never even heard of any lost kids. I think you're barking up the wrong tree. Scurry along. Now, I don't know about you, but this group here found that rather suspicious. I mean, if he hadn't, truthfully, heard of any lost children, why would he be so cagey and weird about it? Surely if he hadn't heard of any lost children, he would be a little interested in at least asking some questions, maybe helping out. I don't know, maybe he's just a dick, but he seemed very quick to dismiss the idea. So, they pressed again. Evan looked at the man and said, "Sir, I don't think you understand how far we've come. We are on a mission from the desert to find lost children in order to prevent a war. Truth be told, we were told we had 7 days to do it, and it has been about that, to be honest, and I don't think we're getting back anytime soon. But, you know, we kind of started this mission, and we'd like to finish it. So, stop being a dick and help us out. What's up with that? Like, seriously, there are lost children. And you're just gonna sit there and make jokes and tell us to go away? What sort of person are you? Nobody has talked to me like that in a very long time. As far as I remember, nobody has talked to me like that and lived to tell the tale. You're very brave and perhaps very stupid. Do you have any idea who I am?" Evan thought about this deeply. Thought about all the stories he'd read. Use stairs as windows instead of full blocks and slab. Yeah. That's much better. Evan thought about all the stories he'd been reading and realized this must be the great Poseidon. But at this point, Evan didn't really care. What the flip-a-flap had Poseidon done for them? What's the worst he's gonna do? Just kill them all right there? They'd been close to that 100 times by now. He'd killed a bunch of people. Like, this is the sort of quest where that shit's just always on the table. So, Evan looks dead ass at Poseidon, knowing full well who he is, and says, "All due respect, sir, I don't give a shit who you are. I'm on a journey. And I'm here to stop a war. Whoever you are, you're not more important than that. So either help us out, or get the hell out of our way." He froze as Poseidon took a second to think through his next move. This was not the sort of situation he was used to. He's met a lot of stupid people. But this guy was perhaps not so stupid. Because Poseidon was already ready to completely wash these guys away and let them drown. So, what did he have to lose? Was, in this situation, angering him really a bad move? Like, of course he was mad, but you kind of gotta have some respect for that. You know what? I like what you're throwing down. I like your energy. If you complete 7 quests for me, I shall allow you to leave, and I shall impart upon you some information about what you are looking for. Do you accept these terms? The group got together and they thought about it. Again, they thought long and hard. Another incredibly difficult decision they did not feel quite equipped to make. But they talked and they cancelled. And they came up with an answer. Does anyone want to tell me, in this moment, how they answer the great god of the sea, Poseidon, in his request for them to do 7 quests for him? That roof looks awful. They gathered their wits, knowing that this could be a life or death moment. That this could be the moment their quest ends, or the moment their quest really gets going. It had been such a long time coming, and this decision could spell disaster, or it could spell hope. They gathered by the head of the table, the head of this beautiful long tea table. Poseidon, we have made our decision. You have offered us the chance to serve you, to complete 7 quests in order to earn our freedom from your wrath and information about our quest. And while perhaps it would be wise for us to stand here and accept your offer, we have a counter-offer of our own. Our quest is very time-sensitive. I don't know if you quite grasp the concept of that, but we don't have time for your 7 quests. So, we will complete the 7 quests as you ask, if you provide us with the information we need to complete our quest, if We find the lost children and return home in time to stop the war. If we get through all of that alive, then we will complete your quests for you. That is our final offer. Poseidon shook and quaked. He had been so patient and so generous with these people who dared slight him, who dared question him, and dared insult him. He had been so generous, and they think that they have a place to bargain. You say you want to bargain, to negotiate. Well, I have a final offer for you, to take or to leave. You can have your information. You can have your time. But with it, you will carry my wrath. I will turn on you, and my favor will leave you when you least expect it. And there will be nothing you can do but die. This is my final offer. If your quest is so important to you, will you accept my conditions? They'd come so far. They'd done so much, and they had no more leads. The man drives a very difficult bargain, a very hard bargain. But what else could they do? Their people were about to go to war over a false accusation. And they couldn't let their people fight and die. So, in this offer, they accepted the wrath of the ocean itself. Though full of fear, they looked to the ocean god. We've accepted your offer. Now tell us, what do you know? He breathed deeply, not afraid to keep them waiting, not afraid to enjoy it, to enjoy the pressure and the waiting. I know many things about your quest. The first is that from the very start, your quest was doomed to fail. I told you I knew nothing of lost children, and in that I did not lie, because the children you seek are not lost. One might say They have been found. They reside in a new domain, freely and of their own will. Dreamers, adventurers, every year taken for something greater. Taken for the story of a lifetime, but always given a choice. And can you blame them? I mean, you've seen your village, slow and boring and full of violence. Can you really say you don't believe your Todd just wandered off and decided never to come back, that he found something better? The children aren't lost because they don't know where they're going. The children are lost because they were failed by their parents and by their villagers. They did not get lost. You lost them. To the land of dreams. A land where they can have and do and be anything. So, if you want to find your precious lost children, you can try and find your way to the land of dreams. But I doubt they'll be coming back. And if you think about it, do you really think that you'll be coming back either? Once you've seen that place, do you really think that your village is worth saving? I mean, what did they ever do for you other than start wars, breed hostility? The human race is doomed. And maybe you can stop it. Stop all of this from falling into chaos and war and death. But at the end of the day, do you really think it deserves to be saved? That's the information I have for you. That is the knowledge and the quest that I have for you. If you want to save your precious town, then go. Rescue these lost children from everything they ever wanted, from all of their dreams, from happiness, from freedom, from war, starvation, and death. If you want to go save your lost children from that, be my guest. But don't expect them to thank you for it. And with that, Poseidon vanished in a whirlwind of sea and sand and salt. And our adventurers found themselves right back where they started, in their sleepy little village. Right, Maria said as she looked around the town. Things were escalating very quickly. It didn't quite look like the war had perhaps quite yet begun. But people were gathering their swords and their guns and their spears. There were fires in the distance and the smell of gunpowder on the air. We have to stop them, right? We can do this. We just need more time. Right? We should stop this. Right, guys? We have to stop the war. We have to. Our people are depending on us. But how? How? If we can't get to these children, if they won't return, we have to buy some more time. We have to find a way. The rest of the gang looked a little less sure. Evans scratched his head and stared off into the horizon. Tamara looked over at the pile of weapons. Maybe war was the way to peace. Even Susan scratched her head and looked off into the distance. She was on this mission to save Todd, and well, if Todd didn't need saving, what's the point? What's the point in going about all this? The only people really that need saving now are the ones who need saving from themselves. The angry, furious, desperate people. But this wasn't their responsibility. They never signed up to talk people out of a war they were already convinced to start. If these people wanted to start a war, that's got nothing to do with them. They could have their war, right? It's not wrong to let people have what they're looking for, right? They look at each other slowly and steadily. What do we do? Where do we go from here? They called a council. They called a council of both villages. They don't know what the right choice is here, but they needed time. Time to decide. So they gathered both villages, who sat eagerly waiting to find what the group had learned. Maria stepped forward. If there was any time to use her excellent skills of persuasion, this was it. Leaders, you sent us out to find these lost children, to prove that neither of you had transgressed and that this war did not need to start. And you may be able to see here that we do not have the children. The group roared with anger, with fury, with war in their eyes. But Maria said quickly, not wanting to lose the moment. Perhaps in the point of the quest we have succeeded. For we did not find the children, but we do know where they are. We travelled long and far to the land of the gods, the land of Poseidon, of all people, under the water. And he told us great things, and terrifying things. And perhaps the most fearful of them all, that your children weren't taken, that they didn't wander off and get lost, that they didn't die, but that the reason you could never find them is that they didn't want to be found. That the war and the violence and the fury drove these children to leave. That some greater power felt that desire to be part of something else and called them to a different world, a better world, without all your violence and hatred and anger. Your children aren't missing. They left because they were ashamed of what you'd become. And I know that you're so eager to start a war and that we haven't fulfilled your conditions. But I want you to think back. I want you to think about Todd and your other child who was lost many years ago. And think if they left because of this anger, do you really think that anger is what's going to bring them back? Because right now, I don't see any reason they should come back. All that's here for them is hatred and death and anger. If you want your children to come back, be better. Give us time to find them, to talk to them, and build a world that they'll be happy to return to when they get back. If you want your children, here's our stipulation. Build a world that's worthy of them. Build a world that doesn't have all of this anger and hatred, and maybe they'll want to return. So, that's our pitch. That's what we've got for you right now. We don't have your children. We don't know where exactly they are. But if you want them back, this is your chance. This is your one chance. So, what do you say? Are you going to give us the time? The elders here didn't quite know what to say. They looked at each other thoughtfully, each town hoping the other would give an answer first, to give them some reference for even how to respond. They thought on it. As our party stood, fearful but hopeful of what might happen next. Till eventually, the non-mountainous village elders stood. We gave you time. We gave you a whole week to fix this problem. And you come and you tell us that you need more. I don't know you. I don't trust you. I think right now you've been nothing but insulting to us, to our culture and our people and our children. So, my answer is no. You may not have more time. The war begins tomorrow morning. Unless you have another option for us then this is over. I understand that you don't think the world we're building is a world worthy of our children. And I see your point in that. I do. But this war must be had. People must be taught lessons about respect and about arrogance. And if our children's lives are the cost of that, then that is a price I am willing to pay. Thank you for your efforts. And thank you for your thoughts. This is our decision. War starts tomorrow. And he gets up and he leaves. Todd's father stands looking out. I'm sorry, kids. It seems the decision's been made. If there's nothing you can do by sunrise, then there's nothing I can do for you. If a war is started, we must fight back. Dawn is 3 a.m. You have 11 hours. You have 11 hours and then it's over. I do hope, I genuinely hope that you are able to solve this. And I hope I see my son again. I'm sorry. I wish there was more I could do. 11 hours. 11 hours. A lot can happen in 11 hours. Right? There's still things they can do. 11 hours. Susan stood and looked out over her friends. Team? She said, speaking for the first time. Things look rough right now. Things look like war is building, like war is brewing. I don't know how to stop it. But we've come so far. Evan, you killed people when you fully didn't have to. We've incurred the wrath of God and met a real weird dugong. Is this really the point where we give up? If we want to stop this war, there are 3 things we can do. We can go find the City of Dreams and beg the kids to come back. Whether they do or not is another question. Option 2. We can stay and we can try and show the elders that violence is not the answer. I'm not a big fan of that idea myself. They don't seem like the most reasonable people, but, you know, it is an option. And maybe they prove me wrong. Or, option 3. The riskiest of all. And honestly, this one seems like a bad idea too. But we could dress up as the lost children and pretend to come home. It's a bit of a, I know it's a bit of an out there idea, but hear me out. These people don't seem so smart. And they said it was like a bunch of years since the guys went missing, right? We can just pretend to be the lost children. We'd be like, hey, we're back and it's fine, and you don't have to start this war. It's an option. I don't know if it's a good option, but I don't think any of the options are good options. So I don't know, gang. I'm just a camel. But we do have options. Okay. Maria said, first of all, how long have you been able to talk? Because fully this whole time you have not talked. And I'm a little confused. That's just my first question. Second question. Pretend to be the lost kids. Where did you come up with that idea? That is crazy. But like, the other ideas are crazy too. But I don't know anything about pretending to be a lost kid. So, I like the idea. I like where you're coming from. But there's got to be someone else who can do that for us. Do you remember, off in our adventures, when we went through the big city for the first time, and we met that troupe of actors? And we helped save their circus? Yeah? You remember that? I honestly had almost forgotten about that. We've done a lot of things since we left. But Maybe they can help us out with this plan. We don't have long. Susan? How fast are you feeling today? How far can you run? Yeah. I can get there and back. I can get there and back. So you want me to find the actors and ask them to come and pretend to be lost children in order to stop the war? Yeah, I can do that. That seems pretty reasonable to me. Give me 1 second, I need to blow my nose. I'll be right back. So, Susan galloped through the night, through the storm, through the desert, through the swamp, and arrived back at the circus. Out of breath, she ran right up to the ringmaster. Gareth, we're in trouble. We found where the kids are. We found that they probably don't want to come back. And that they're too far away to reach. We need your help. We were there for you in your time of trouble, and now we need you in ours. We need 2 actors, young, to pretend to be Todd and the lost child of the other village. Can you help us? Please. Ringmaster twirled his moustache. Yes, I believe I can. Lucy and Philip, come here. I have a job for you. You're going to get on this cab, ride to a faraway town, and pretend to be lost children in order to stop a war. Do you understand? Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah, we can do that. That sounds great. Okay, yes. See? There's no way this can go wrong. So the young children got on Susan's back, and she raced back. But as she was racing, the first signs of dawn, the first rays of light, stretching over the horizon behind her, she had to run. Faster than she'd ever run before. She had to beat the sun back to the village. Now Tamara, Evan, and Maria sat anxiously, waiting, throwing together last-minute props and thoughts. And they started to see the glimmer of the sun on the horizon. It's over, Maria said. After all of that, after everything, the war is starting. We couldn't stop it. I thought we'd be able to stop it. And as the village people gripped tightly to their sword, staring at the rising sun, waiting for the order, The village chief of the non-mountainous village looked at the horizon, desperate for an answer he'd hoped desperately would come. He saw it. A cloud of dust emerged over the horizon. In the dust, a camel, and on the camel, 2 figures on its back. They jumped off the camel and ran towards the men. Hello? We're back. We were so lost and so scared. We didn't know what to do. Are you really starting a war over all of this? We didn't mean to make things worse. We wanted out. We didn't want to have to deal with the war and the violence anymore. But you've shown us that running away isn't the answer. That sometimes you do have to take a stand for what's right. So we're back. And we're here. And you can stop now. You can stop now. And as this chief looked over these 2 kids and over the deals that he'd made, over all the violence and the threats, he took a breath and made a decision that he never expected to make. Kids, thank you for coming back. Your words have moved me greatly, and I do see what you say. I see that sometimes you do, against all advisement, against all sense, need to take a stand for the things you truly believe in. And I'm sorry, but right now I need to make a stand for all of the anger and the hatred and the disrespect that this other village has shown us. I make my stand, and I'm sorry. I am sorry, young adventurers, but today I must break my word. Today, I make a stand. And I choose violence. I choose death. I choose war. The room quaked. No one was ready for this outcome, especially after seeing the young children return home. The people didn't want to fight, but knew After everything, they would stand by their chief. There were moments, seconds, to decide what to do. And they didn't have time to discuss what action to take. Evan and Maria and Tamara shared a glance, and one of them remembered a final course of action, one final thing that could stop all of it, could stop the anger and the tyranny and the hate, and funnily enough, in this case, the chief was right. The only way left to take a stand was violence. Evan looked at his friends and looked at his hands and remembered the very start of their journey. There's only one thing now standing between them and peace. And that man is just a man. That man is just flesh. He reaches out his hand and one last time casts Fireball. Flames burn, and the man screams as he falls to the ground in pain. Evan knows he did this. Evan knows this is another life in his hands. But without this man to call upon the fighting and the anger and the war, that this was their last chance to bring about a somewhat peaceful ending. The man burned. Everyone looked on. But there was one thing Evan had forgotten. One crucial piece of information. The deal with Poseidon. As this chief burned, the very ocean leapt out and put out the flames. Charred, in pain, and furious, the chief yelled out for death and war, for violence and anger. These people have attacked us and disrespected us for the last time. I will not rest until every one of them burns and dies. This isn't about children or disrespect. This is about justice. And these people do not deserve their lives. He pointed. And as his people looked on, he gave the order. These people must die. The townspeople looked at each other. They were ready for war. They were ready for pain and death and anger. This was something else. Genocide? One figure put down their sword. It was my daughter that went missing all of those years ago. This does not honour her, and this does not honour us. Another man put down his sword, and another, till men and women and children on both sides alike lowered their weapons. This man does not speak for us. If this is anger and hatred, we don't want it. And burning, furious chief screamed and shouted, begged, calling the people cowards, unloyal, unfaithful. But no one listened. He'd had his time. He'd had his chance. Covered in burns. He dried up and he died on that battlefield. The one casualty of a war that at that stage only he was committed to. The war ended, and the people came together. Many campaigned for Maria to be mayor of both towns, to take over, but she had other plans. And there was someone perhaps even more qualified. See, a long time ago, the non-mountainous village had lost something else. Not just a child, but a loyal and beloved camel. Susan, unbeknownst to any of them, until that day, was a child of both villages, with loyalty and wisdom and heart enough for both. So Susan, that day, became the mayor of the two desert villages, and ruled over them with kindness and love. Yes, Susan. They never saw Todd again, or any of the missing children. But they knew they were happy, and they hoped, if ever they heard stories of the village, that they would be proud of what it had become. And that is the story of two desert villages at war. A story of anger and of hatred and of overcoming it all. Well, that was fun. That's not at all what I was expecting, but we got a cool desert adventure. But honestly, I don't think I want to come up with something as rad and chaotic without you guys, so thanks for being a part of it. It is 3:30. If we're interested, we might have time for another. Do you guys want another story? Down for anything? Because I am just really enjoying building this kind of bamboo thing. Sure, another story? Yeah, we can do another story. I'm trying to place this bed. I went to the theatre recently and saw a play, as you do at the theatre. But man, I just had so many ideas for things I wanted to write after that. And my head has just been spinning with stories and just the desire to write stories. So I'm definitely not going to say no to the opportunity right now to tell another one. There's something just so beautiful about storytelling, and as you know, I've been away on my honeymoon for a couple of weeks, and I just haven't had the opportunity to write or stream at all, and just telling stories is my favorite. I am going to grab some tissues because my nose is running again. So, I was originally imagining we would be telling more of a traditional adventure story. Those, no. Yeah, that doesn't look good. I am not going to continue being distracted. I don't like those, but then how do you get up? So, this story starts on a ship. The crack of the waves and the smell of salt. The ship rocks back and forth. But the people on board barely notice. They've been on this voyage for months now. And the rocking just feels like home. Two men stand looking over a map. Same map they've been looking over ever since they left. They know vaguely where they were going. They know the island where this treasure was last seen. But there are clues hidden somewhere. And surely they should be able to find them. But it's been months, and they are not showing their heads. first character whose name is... I should be able to just come up with a name. Philip. His name is Philip. Looks over at the younger man. You said you'd be able to find it. You said you'd read the journal, and you knew the man's mind, and that by looking at the map you would be able to find the treasure. But we're almost at the island now, and you haven't found it. What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do here? Do I tell the crew that we don't know where we're going? That this whole journey was nothing? Is that really what's happening here? They'll turn on us. We told them there was treasure waiting at the end. And they are not patient people. You don't find that treasure. Get a bunch of angry men, and both of us dead. Is that what you want? Or are you going to knuckle down and find the bloody thing? Philip's partner, Thomas, looked greatly concerned. To be honest, he may have been exaggerating his ability to solve this puzzle a little bit, and exaggerating his knowledge a little bit, but, you know, he thought for sure he'd be able to sort it out. It's just a puzzle. Can't be that hard. But the rubber was hitting the road. And if he didn't sort this out now, if he didn't find a way to get out of this situation, it was not going to end well for him. So we looked at the map one last time, tracing the edges, running his finger along every river, every crack, every seam. Breathe deeply. Looked harder than ever before. And all of a sudden, his eyes went wide, and his smile brightened. I think I have a lead. I think I may have found a clue. Philip beamed. This is what he'd been waiting for all these years, to find this treasure, to reclaim it. And finally, his plans were taking shape. Where? What is it? What have you seen? Thomas grabbed the map, laid it on one side of the table, and pulled another map out of the drawer. Slowly, he looked through the tiny details. There. A little cove that doesn't appear on the original map. It could be a cartography error. These pirates don't seem like the sort of people that would be making that sort of error to me. Do they seem like that to you? So, this cove is missing. But why? He stared carefully again, trying to find a reason. want us to find it. Oh gosh, that looks ugly. Perhaps that cove is where it's hidden. Perhaps the map itself is not designed to be a clue, but to be misleading. To lead anyone chasing the treasure away from it. That would explain why it's been so thoroughly difficult to follow a map that we thought was meant to be followed. It's just a theory, and I know it's a little thin right now, but I think right now we take any theory we can get. Are you with me? Can we do this? I mean, it's worth a try at least, right? Thomas looked anxiously at Philip, knowing that their lives were on the line should they make the wrong mistake here. Well, I suppose it's worth a try. Philip smiled, nervously. He was excited to have a lead, but it was a dubious one at best. All this time he had been searching. He couldn't give up now. This was his last chance to find the treasure. We set sail for the cove then. I will change course. Philip headed to the rudder, confused and nervous, but excited. Thomas breathed a sigh of relief and wiped the blue off his finger, the little smear of paint he'd left over the cove. He'd needed an answer, quickly. And for now, that was the only way he could get one. He was in over his head. He knew that now. The treasure would have been exciting. The fame, even more so. But Thomas now was fighting for his life. Treasure be damned. So, the journey continued. They sailed on. Thomas continued scouring the map for any sign of a real hint, for anything that could save him now. He scoured and he searched and he thought. To be a better way out of this. There has to be a way to find the treasure. I've bought myself some time for now. But if the crew doesn't kill me for this, Philip will. Philip, on his part, did a lot of thinking as well. See, this treasure had been stolen by pirates decades ago, but it held originally the treasure of his family, treasures long lost from their mansion. The family had fallen on hard times, and they needed these treasures in order to regain their position of power. If he didn't find these treasures soon, his family's fortune would be lost forever. He'd spent every last penny on this voyage, and he would return home either a rich man or with nothing at all. At that point, he may as well return home a dead man. The stakes had never been higher. But hopefully this kid would be able to see him get his fortune back. He told the kid, of course, that they would split the treasure evenly. Why else would the kid have helped him? But he doesn't need to split the treasure with the kid if the kid never makes it back. He was naive, and he was clever. And, what was his name? Philip knew he could use that to his advantage. Neither of the pair knew that they were playing each other. But who would end up playing the final note at the end of the day? Is the question this story will bring to light. Thomas, on his part, was a young lad, just graduated from university, and was excited to see the world. He'd heard stories of treasure hunters and pirates ever since he was young, and longed for adventure. This was his chance to see the world and be part of a greater story. And, if he ends up rich doing it, that's a bonus. He has nothing waiting for him at home. But hopes one day to build something worth coming home to. Thomas wished he could stall longer, wished he could buy more time to find a solution. But eventually, they arrived at the cove. They jumped out of their boats and came ashore. On that shore was, in fact, a shipwreck, which rather got Thomas and Philip's hopes up. Perhaps this shipwreck was the site of the treasure. Perhaps this cove was the answer for all their worrying. So, a team of them crawled into the ship, into the wreck. With hope in their eyes and stomachs like lead, they searched through the ship, hoping to find what they were looking for. On the deck of the ship was not much remarkable. Barrels and cannons and lots of well-rotten planks. It seemed, whether or not the treasure was here, that this definitely was the ship of the pirates who had the treasure. A promising start. They looked through the lower deck, through the crew's quarters. They found some shiny coins, a couple of gems, but no bodies. The crew had left the ship and left these treasures behind. Ominous and worrying indeed. What would compel them to leave it all behind? Had they been searching for safety and planning to come back to it? That must be it. That's the only thing that makes sense in this situation. They must have been planning to come back. But they never did. What happened? Philip had always assumed that the pirates had all died in a shipwreck. That when the treasure had been lost to sea, so had the pirates. So why wouldn't they be here? Where would they have gone? Philip continued, searching through the ship, warier than before. Something didn't add up. Something was wrong, and it scared him. It scared him more than anything. Don't forget, this is still a choose your own adventure, so if you want to throw in any ideas to the chat, you are very welcome to. But it seems for now you are well content just listening, which is fine too. There's never any pressure to contribute. I can just sit here and tell a story. So, to the final deck they went. If the treasure was here, if the treasure was on the ship, this is where it would be. After all this time, is his search finally over? He stops and stares for a moment, scared to open the door, scared to find out. Because what if it isn't? Because where do they go from here if they're wrong? This is his last chance to restore his family name, to restore his family fortune. If the treasure's not in here, or some sort of clue, it's all over. He breathes again, deeply, quivering. This is it. This is what this comes down to. He opens the door. At first, it seems disappointing. There's no obvious signs of anything buried, anything hidden, anything secret. But as they begin looking through all the items, they find the treasure among the things. Not hidden, not protected, just stored. Like you'd store food, or gunpowder, or spare cloth. It was just there. Again, very ominous and very confusing. The group don't know what to do with this information. They thought they might find the treasure here, but like this? It was so easy, and yet so ominous. None of it felt right. What could it mean? Philip shook it off. It's strange, but there's no sign of danger. There's no reason to be scared. Whatever caused these strange occurrences is probably long gone. I'm safe, and I have what I was looking for. I should be celebrating. I can celebrate. I have saved my family. Right? Right? Thomas, for his part, was well relieved as well. He'd chosen this cove on a whim, and the fact that it had turned out to be where the treasure was quite fortuitous. He was going to be making it home alive. Or so he thought. He had no idea of the plan to get him out of the way. So that, I really need to write these names down. Philip could keep the treasure. I don't like that. He smiled, Thomas, at Philip. Well there. Can't believe you ever doubted me. Of course we found the treasure. Of course. What else would we have done? Then they heard a groaning and a creaking and a blood-curdling scream. Philip and Thomas ran back to the deck of the ship. What's going on? What's wrong? Who's screaming? What's happened? and they looked to find the first mate, Anthony, on the floor, dead, bled out, with a sword wound in his chest. What happened here? We were downstairs for 1 minute. How did this... They turned to see the boatswain of the ship, holding a sword, dripping with blood. What did you do? You killed him. Occupational hazard. You see, while you pompous prats have been bouncing around looking at maps and treasure, we've all been working very hard. That treasure is very enticing. So, I'm going to give you a choice. Because I'm kind like that, I'm going to give you a choice. Either you bring that treasure onto my ship, or I do it over your dead bodies. Choice is yours. Philip and Thomas were horrified. They looked at each other. They couldn't believe someone would think to betray them. They were the one that was supposed to be doing the betraying. Now, hang on a second, Philip said. This is what I paid you for. This is what you agreed to. You said that you would do this work for us. What's changed? Nothing's changed. This was the plan the whole damn time. You were just too naive to see it. This whole time, you're planning on letting us take you to the treasure and then taking it for yourself. Yeah, basically, I could start a new life. I could finally open that pastry shop I've been wanting to open. I don't have to be a pirate anymore. I don't have to sail anymore. This is what I've always wanted. So don't try and talk me out of it. Save your breath, you'll need it. It's a lot of treasure to carry. Thomas and Philip looked at each other. Then they looked at the man's sword. I suppose they didn't have a choice. They picked up the treasure, every little piece, and loaded it onto the ship. What were they to do? What could they do? What can they do? As they loaded the last pieces on board, they looked up at the boatswain, now the captain. Thanks for the hand, fellas. And, as I said, a man true to my word, you had your choice. And now, I'm not going to kill you. But I ain't bringing you along either. He reached out his foot, kicked them both off board. Panicked and flailing, they looked around and started to swim. time they'd caught their breaths, the ship was already off in the distance. After all of that work, Thomas and Philip found themselves stranded on this spooky-ass shipwreck in the middle of nowhere. Well, I guess we should see if there's food on board. And if not, food and water, probably those are the first things you're supposed to find to survive, right? Food and water? Yes, we can do this. Food, water, and then signal for help. I'm sure someone will be along. There's got to be ships that come through this way. I don't think so. If ships came this way, they would have found the treasure by now. Maybe they weren't looking very hard. It's possible. I know plenty of people who don't look very hard. In fact, there have been plenty of treasures that have remained undiscovered in plain sight for years. Because people don't look very hard. Or do you think otherwise we're just going to die here? We're just going to die alone on this island together. That's your option, huh? Seems like the only option to me. It's not one I'd choose, but it's where we're at. What we're doing here. You're giving up. You're giving up. Just like that. Yep. This was my last chance. So, good luck, I guess. If you want to try and survive, yeah, good luck to you. I'm just gonna sit here and wait to die. Great. Not only am I stuck in the middle of nowhere, I am stuck with some arsehole who's not going to help me. That is just my luck. Okay. Okay, Thomas. Think. You can do this. You can sort this out. You can think. Food, water. Food, water. First things to look for. So Thomas spent some time looking through all of the barrels. There was water, at least he thought at first, but it was long corrupted by the salt water. Okay, that's fine. We're on an island. We can definitely go find water somewhere. Next thing is food. So we kept looking through the barrels. Found as well the food that had been there had long rotted. Okay, no, this is still fine. We can still go and find food. That's not a problem. We can do this. Philip, I understand that you want to sit there and wallow in your grief. And that is lovely for you. But right now, the two of us are going to survive, and I need your help to do it. So, you are... Can you not put plants in pots? Really? You are going to pull up your pants and help me with this. Or so help me, kill you on the spot. That's what you want. But either you're going to be useful or you're going to die. Choice is yours. Philip sighed. Philip sighed deeply. Can a flower pot on top of a pot work? Good question. No. That's wild. You should be able to put plants in pots. Philip looked up at the boy. You would kill me. Oh, what else am I going to do? Starve to death? If you won't help me, the least I could do is eat you. Oh, what the hell? What do we have to lose? I will help you. I will help you try to survive. Because I'm nice like that. But if it gets to a week and we're still stuck on this damn island, I'm taking you up on the other offer. You understand me? Good. So, the two acquaintances headed out, looking, searching for food, for water, for wood, and for some way to light a fire. And it didn't take them long to find something not quite what they were expecting. Anyone want to tell me what they found? No, that's okay. Oh, hold on. I just realized my brain shut down. I'll be with you in a second. Bada boom boom boom. They found a village. A small village, maybe 6 houses. Built up crudely and roughly with local materials. Not really what they were expecting to find on this island. They decided to further investigate. And upon looking around, determined that much like the ship, no one was home. But there were no bodies and plenty of things left lying around. Curiouser and curiouser, one might say. But, thankfully, the well was still usable. And there was plenty of firewood left out. So, they crawled into one of the houses, snuggled up by the fire and drank deeply from the water from the well. They would need to find food in the morning, but it was getting dark. And shelter, fire, and water in the first night is not a bad feat. I guess that's just going to be a hole. I've really designed this architecture to be very architecture. There's not really places for me to put things. But that's fine. So, they slept the night and woke up surprised to find themselves still alive and still okay. Hungry, absolutely. But warm and alive. And with plenty of water to drink. Pardon me. So, with new hope, they went to explore the island further. As they walked, they found a bubbling freshwater spring, which would be greatly useful as a secondary source of water. And they found just a whole herd of cows. Again, remarkably useful. Because not only would they have food to eat, they could continue to create a sustaining food source from it. Now, I don't know if you've ever been stuck on a deserted island before. I can't say personally that I ever have. But I wouldn't expect things to go so well, so easily. And I have to say, Thomas and Philip felt rather the same. This is too easy. This is too odd. What in tarnations is going on with this place? We find the treasure, and then we lose the treasure. And we think we're out here to die. Then we find the village. And we find the cows. These can't be a coincidence. This can't be natural. Something happened here. We have to work out what. Well, Philip, stay with me. Why? I appreciate the adventuring spirit. It's lovely. But I really don't think that investigating the supernatural is something that was on my list of things to do today. Just putting that out there. I was more thinking, get home. Don't die. I get we're in a weird situation, and we're in a lot of danger. I don't think that's a great excuse to get into more danger. Again, just putting things out there. I was here for an adventure. I've had enough adventure. I've had plenty of adventure. I do not need to go investigating the bloody supernatural right now. Philip looks greatly concerned by this. You said you were an adventurer, that you wanted to see things and discover things. Am I right? I did say that a long time ago. A long time ago, when we weren't stranded on an island. And you said you didn't care about the treasure, or the money, or getting home. Again, it's a very different context than this. And you know, I dare say things have changed slightly. You have your adventure if you want it. I am going to be here, and I am going to be surviving. Maybe there is a mystery here that needs to be solved, but it does not need to be solved by me. Thomas returns to the village. Lights the fire. It starts cooking up a big chunk of beef. Philip comes back in. I'm sorry. This is a stressful time, and I know that I should not have pushed you into this. I want to work out what's happening. But you want to survive, and that is perfectly reasonable. I will be investigating. Are you saying you will not come with me? That you will not find out what's happening here? It's not my responsibility, man. It's really not. I understand. I understand. The next morning, Thomas wakes to find the village in flames. What is going on? Well, Philip said, you seem to have lost your sense of adventure. When we arrived here, we were very eager to work things out, to find out where we were going, and to survive. Well, if you won't go on an adventure for the sake of mystery, perhaps you will go on the adventure for the sake of survival. Now come on, the day is short, and you've already slept in. Baffled, Thomas sits there for a moment. You burned down the village to convince me to come with you. Yep. And you thought that would work. Yep. You come? Well, I guess I am. I guess I'm coming to find some shelter or something. This is madness. That is a crazy thing you've done. I hope you know that. Like, I am genuinely concerned about this. Go on, stay short. Chop chop. I've got plenty to do. You're the one that was willing to kill me over this. I just burned some things down. That what? Sure, fine, whatever. We'll go on this adventure and we'll work out what's happening. As you so desire. So? We begin searching. Searching for the answer to this mystery. I really just started trying to make a cool raft and I've made it too complicated. It's gotten too big to be beautiful. And I'm going to size it down a bit. So, with very little knowledge of what's going on, the duo heads into the jungle. Oh yeah, my brain is shutting down. We probably should have stopped at the first story, but I will finish. They search until, as is becoming the norm, they find something rather ominous and unexpected. A temple. A big stone structure overgrown in the middle of the jungle, with trees and roots and vines creeping through it. Skeletons. So many skeletons. That explains where the bodies went. But why? And how? One might be able to assume that the village was built by the pirates when they landed here. But why then did they leave the treasure behind? And how then did they all die here? Some answers only bring more questions. And Philip and Thomas were beginning to understand that more than most. Temple. I am sorry, I am not performing to my usual standard today. I've been exhausted. "404. Error. 404. Ah! I don't know if that's my brain or something that's happening in the story. But I'm like, both? Error 404 is page not found. Which is certainly what's happening with my brain, but in the temple, they discover a book. An ominous book with even more ominous writing. However, the last page has been torn from the book. As they look around the room, they find the page grasped tightly in the hand of one of the skeletons. Again, very worrying. But honestly, that's just been the vibe up until this point. So, worrying it remains. And this book of ancient tongues and hidden languages seems to whisper gently, peacefully. What is it whispering? Who is it whispering to? What is it trying to say? We may never know. We may never find out. What that book was trying to say. Because as Thomas and Philip grasped the page and read the writing that must never be written, that must never be read, their story ended. They never found their way back home, never saved or made a family. That's where it ended. So be careful when approaching spooky temples in the middle of the jungle. And never make your bed with duplicitous swords. This has been a very weird story. And I hope you have had fun listening to it. Hello, Cam Animation. We just finished telling our second story. I've been working on this raft, big old raft, for a long time. Like over 3 hours. It's not fantastic, but I'm just experimenting with the bamboo. And it's been nice to experiment, but I think that experiment has run its course. I'm interested in continuing to do some building. Oh! I don't know what that says. Hold on, give me a second. I'm pulling up the Google Translate. Apparently the last thing I translated was Finnish. I don't know what that means, to be honest. Is this a young people slang? I don't know. It's a dance. You want to do a fun dance? Man, you're making me feel old. Currently hitting the gritty. Excellent. I hope you hit that gritty real hard. You're Russian. Cool. I have never been to Russia. I've actually never been to Europe. Don't rush too hard. It's such a beautiful original joke. I am on that kind of tiny house grind right now. I'm just really into tiny houses. I might try and make a tiny house bamboo raft, but not stick to the bamboo. Alright, I'm pulling out the Google Translates again. I feel like these are song lyrics that I am too old to understand. I'm sorry. I am 25. So, in internet years, I'm basically ancient. But I'm trying my best. They ain't. You're just speaking in Russian. Okay. You're just a poet. I thought they were song lyrics because you're speaking so beautifully and poetically. Oh, I can't build a raft on dry land. What am I doing? So for a tiny home, I reckon we can do interior 3x5. Maybe you should write a song. Japan. I need to stop closing my Google Translate tab. One of these days they'll get a thing where it'll just auto-translate for you in chat, and that will be a good day. Hello, my fellow Allow players. In today's video I'm watching Minecraft streamer. Google Translate. I understand vaguely what you're trying to say. I am Minecraft streamer. In today's video, we tell stories, then build raft. Do you speak much English? I have never had the patience to learn a second language. Okay, in a 3x5, you'd think putting a door right at the end here would make a lot of sense, but that actually uses up a lot more usable space. Because having 3 in a row, you can fit a lot in. Come from Russia to America. Ah, I've never been to America either. Is either worth visiting? There are so many places I want to travel. Australia's better. Look, I do love Australia, so I can't argue with you there, but it's a very blanket statement. Glass. Ooh, what kind of glass should we use here? I'm going to try a controversial choice. Okay, I didn't close the translate tab this time. I can copy it. This place sucks. Oh. Go to the end. But I'm building a little house. Should I build a little house in the end? What do you want me to do in the end? Set spawn in the end. Set spawn to this. Oh, by bed. Okay, I was going to do it. By sheets. Bed. What colour bed? I've just gone with lime windows, so I guess we're going with a lime theme. The lime windows are a terrible choice, but you know, I'm rolling with it for now. I think I'm going to put the bed up in a little loft. It's going to be kind of similar to my standard tiny house build, but... Oh, I forgot how slabs work. Squeeze it in. You don't mind the lime? Oh, that's good. It was making me feel a little seasick, but maybe I literally just did the same thing. I'll try it for a bit and see if I get used to it. Okay, I often have this sort of loft area just like up in a little moment, but I'm wondering if I turn this into like a balcony. In which case I probably want to turn them this way. Because what's the point of a tiny home if you can't share it with the people you love? Always do slabs for ceilings, you get an extra half block height. Unless you want to feel claustrophobic, which is fine. You want to see me fight the dragon? Fun fact about me, I have fought the dragon twice. Both times were in insane circumstances. The first one was in creative mode and I killed it accidentally. The second time was in a really fun stream I did that was Minecraft, but you control the commands, and I just had to do any command the chat said. And let's just say I had a lot of help fighting the dragon. But while I do enjoy the Minecraft combat, I do kind of just feel like building right now. When I'm done this, I might, but I've started this little house and I want to see how it goes. I'm not loving the loft at the moment. Oh, because those are stairs, not slabs. Cool fact, beds are good against dragon. That's right. That is a fact. I had forgotten that though, so that'll be very helpful. I'll just fill my inventory with beds. Okay, this is a cute little loft bedroom, I'm not gonna lie. And like, maybe I actually make this for 2 friends rather than a couple, but the bed's on each side. I think that's going to be more aesthetically pleasing. And if we're doing this open air, we may as well keep it fully open air. And then do I need this extra platform actually? I'm just making it a little... Honestly, it's a terrifying place to sleep. But I'm not getting rid of it. In fact, I'm going to make it more open air. You just really gotta hope that it doesn't rain when you want to sleep. That's fine. It doesn't rain in the rainforest, does it? Actually, keeping that one down there makes sense because it anchors it better to the vessel rather than having that awkward little hang there. Oh, this is going to look so cute. These trapdoors, I think, are my new favourite trapdoors. I should change the stream title so no one comes in here looking for the original idea and doesn't find it. There you go. I'm a good streamer. And then one more in the corner, I think. That's so annoying, building with trapdoors while you're flying, because the shift key is the thing that allows you to place them. Did you know Creeper dropped disc? I think I have heard that. I've never seen it happen though. And I do love discs, and I've never actually found one in the wild. even got space for some bedside tables and extra storage. I think the big thing with a tiny house is trying to fit in as much storage as possible. Oh, we could even do two. No, we can't do two. But we can put in a flower pot. My camera froze. Oh dear, thank you for letting me know. I will work out what happened. Hey, you're back. The zoom has changed quite significantly, but I guess you get to see more of me now. I believe you got to get a skeleton to kill it. Oh, that's right. That does sound like a really fun thing to try, and this will probably not take that long. Oh, putting that in the middle is going to absolutely make this harder, but that's fine. Maybe I'll give that a try once I've done this, because that does sound like a lot of fun. What's that new plant? Torch flower. Okay, so this is the bedroom. Quickly throwing in a kitchen. Need a banner, some white dye. Actually, I should use a line banner. My default for kitchen banners is always pink, because that's how I've seen it used. But in this case, we actually want line. You can pop that there, because a little tea towel and kind of hides the ugly ass crafting table. What's going on there? That does not need to be stairs. Okay. We're going to put a ladder up here, which might be difficult. I don't know if you can do ladders on stained glass panes. No, but can I just use it anyway? Also no. Cool. And remember what I was saying about you don't want to put something in the middle like that? Like exactly what I've done? Yeah, that is a thing I said. Now I'm gonna have to work out how to fix it, because that space is too valuable not to use. So I'm gonna build that down there. You used to be able to climb ladders with one block apart. Well, that's very rude. And then what I can try and do here is turn that into like a table. Put a couple of little chairs in. You can put a trapdoor wall instead of 4 blocks. That is the smartest thing I've heard all day. In that case, I probably won't use trapdoors for seats. In fact, I might use a oak to match the ladder. Because I hate how ladders are only available in the one wood tone. It's the same with barrels and a bunch of other wood items. It drives me bananas. But we can use these chairs as a moment to tie it in. Like these are maybe something they built on their travels. That does make it quite difficult to access. Not really way into the table from there. Which is a slight problem. That's okay. We'll make it work. We just need to add a separate access point. Which means we're going to want to be able to get through here. Which is not a problem. And get through here, and then make the access point something like that. And have the ladder up that wall. I cannot, because that is where the tea towel is. Have the ladder up that wall. And put the trapdoor at the top to make it safe. Okay, it's a bit weird, but you know, sometimes you gotta be a bit weird. And I was also going to put a door on this level, which does still make sense. I think we do still have to have a door here. Oak door? Yeah, you can do an oak door. That does wreak havoc with these windows though, so we're going to have to do that, which is a big shame. Let's just fill in these spaces we can't use. Okay. So we've got this little dining area, which we can't really use much of because the windowsill is tiny. So maybe we buffed out the windowsill. What else do we need in here? We don't have a lot of storage, but I think this is kind of enough for a starter home. It'd be really nice to, I think I will, put a little garden out the front here. Yeah, I said the interior size was 3 by 5. I didn't say I couldn't do whatever I wanted with the exterior. Farmland, I like to use beetroot seeds because beetroot is the prettiest of the plants. Bone meal. And I think unless there's anything else that you want to add. Hey Talia, what's up? You want me to try the creeper thing now? I was just finishing this, but I am pretty much done now, so... Or do you want me to go to the end? I know you suggested both, so I don't know what you're hankering for now. Oh, that looks awful. I'm changing that to bamboo. Please, on YouTube, we are on YouTube. What do you want? Go on YouTube. I am on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm just trying to make this less boxy because it looks awful while we're talking. What do you want me to do on YouTube? You all good there, man? Okay, that's just gotta be that. Okay, it is kind of boxy and ugly. It looks so cute from this side, though. Looks fantastic. Then this side. Hey, kitty. See, the problem with tiny houses is it's so easy to make them cute on the inside. Not that I've done a particularly good job with this one. But you're freaking me out. You've just said, hey Talia, please on YouTube, go on YouTube. Unless we make the whole top level. This undercover area, just like a whole second top level. What time am I finishing stream? That's a great question. I should probably actually do that soon because we've got a guest over for dinner tonight. YouTubeception. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want me to go to the website. He wants me to go inside the website. Actually, did like that there. Become YouTube. I must become YouTube. The algorithm. Only promote shorts. Only promote shorts. The algorithm. Google. Subscribe to YouTube Premium. Just really trying to think of anything that YouTube would say. We promise our live streaming platform is equal to Twitch. My goodness, this is... Oh, I could just do that. That's smart. Don't like small content creators. No, they don't make me any money. I only like the creators I steal from other platforms. Because that's the only way to sponsor good live content on this platform. I'm kidding, I love YouTube. Please don't delete my channel on YouTube. Why don't you stream on Twitch? I have, and I don't think I have enough education to make an official comment on this, but I have never heard anything good about Amazon, and I've heard a lot of bad things about Amazon and their practices and the way they treat their workers, so I decided a while ago that I was not going to use Amazon, and Twitch is owned by Amazon, so yeah, that's the only reason. I could put more veggies. What kind of veggies do I put here? Potatoes? Or just more beetroot? I need water. Ah, yes. Water is important. How I get water there is an interesting question. Place the middle one with a slab and waterlog it. But then I only have 2 planned. Maybe I can put the water in here. Oh, I'd like that. Better than 0? He has a point. I'm gonna see if I can make this. I don't have a slab. If I can make this work. Is that good enough? Or I could even do it directly underneath. Directly underneath is the I forgot I put it up to cover the chests. So underneath isn't the answer. this was, and I just undid it because I was greedy. What if we do all... Oh, that was a bad idea. All three with water. Break off the back. So we just get a waterfall down the back of the boat. That's kind of cute. And it's an additional entry point, which means I can get rid of this door. Those cupboards are barely shown, but it's fine. So what do I still need? I really like, in a tiny home, just absolutely fill up all the gaps with tree. And when I say all the gaps, I mean like... I can't use that one because that has to have the furnace there. I can even put one here. And then I can get a pot and a dead bush and make it look like it's grown out. I know it's not a revolutionary building tactic, but I like it. That can't go there. That's right, yes. That also can't go there, so I need to get through to sit at my table. Okay, and then for the final touch, we'll do an item frame with a pumpkin in it to make the kitchen even cuter. The only thing I would love for this kitchen to this tiny home to have is more storage. But hold on, I can put that there if I don't put it there. There. But yeah, I've got 3 chests and then 2 more upstairs, which is not a load, but it's enough. I'm gonna pop a couple of those in. I can't. I was gonna make a little bench, but I don't have space. You know what? Oh, that doesn't need to be there anymore. But how do you get to the garden then? Oh no. I have made an unreachable garden. You can only get to it from the land. Or through the window. This is our little bamboo tiny home. I think I made that water thing work in a cute way. It's a bit weird, but it's cute. This outdoor area, this little bed nook. Little table and a little garden and another little garden. And it doesn't look hideous from all angles, which is a great sign. Well, it's been a weird stream, but thank you for being here for my first stream back. I am very excited to find out what I'm gonna do next time, and I'm excited to see you soon, but I do have to go cook dinner, as I mentioned like half an hour ago. Thanks, gang. See ya.